right, let's get into our top 5. We've talked about the season that's upcoming here, going to be happening tomorrow, the blink in time, and now we are going to talk about our top 5. Evan, let our listeners know what this top 5 is going to be about.
These are the top 5 characters we want to see in Marvel Snap. And
Yes.
we started off, our very first top 5 was the top 5 unsnapped characters we were surprised weren't in the game yet. And I think all of them have now been in the game. So now we're moving on to our wish list.
Okay.
And I even have a couple on the outside looking in.
All right. Wow. I'm a comic book fan. As far as knowing every character that ever existed, it's kind of hard for somebody to say, yes, I do. I know every character that existed. So I'll just go ahead and be upfront and gladly say that I had to consult a list to see what ones aren't in Marvel Snap, because most of what I really would want to see in Marvel Snap is already there. And I think we used this list last time, or at least we talked about the list last time, where it was from ranker.com. And I will tell you that now I think the number is at least the top, I want to say it was the top 70 or top 80. There's not a single one of those characters, top 80 Marvel characters on ranker.com that are not in Marvel Snap. So
gotcha. Okay.
they have hit every single popular character that they can, which is great. Now, some of these ones from the Exiles.
Have they, though, Jesse? Have they?
Some of these ones from the Exiles were down there on the list, a good ways down the list. So they're to a point where I think they've clearly hit the A levels easy.
Oh.
B, I think they're cleaning up. They may have already been done with the B levels. So we are probably in C level territory here. However,
to me, Cannonball and War Machine were the last 2 top tier. I mean, I don't even know if they're top tier, but they were the highest profile characters that weren't in the game yet.
Right. Okay. All right. Well,
and I mean, Hellcow and Zero are in the game, so I just thought of somebody else I should have put on the list. But that's okay.
All right.
Okay, so now my list has at least 8 on it, but we'll go with the top 5.
I did go through, and we talked about, okay, if we mentioned them, if we can come up with power sets, great. Or say power sets. If we can come up with abilities for the cards, that's great. I also came up with cost and power.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I will start out. All right. And coming right off of the Exiles, I'm going to go ahead and throw out a character that I believe is dead now in the 616, but I don't think that stopped Marvel Snap from creating the people's cards. I'm going to go with Mimic. Okay. And I know that's a reach. That's a reach.
Wait, maybe, don't know.
Okay.
He was alive fairly recently.
I remember Mimic being a character, was in the very early issues of X-Men.
Yes.
And I think he was a member of the X-Men, right?
He was.
So there was a long stretch of time where he wasn't being used. But so now you're thinking that he may be back?
There's a storyline. I don't want to say what it is, because it's probably one that we should do on source material.
Okay. All right.
But if I tell you what it is, then you'll know Mimic's in it, and it's kind of a surprise. So we're just going to...
Not going to say anything. Yeah. Gotcha. All right.
But I have seen him recently, and he showed up in X-Force. I mean, the original X-Force series at some point as kind of a bad guy.
Okay.
And I was, Mimic's still around. That's cool. I mean, because I'd only read about him in handbooks and stuff like that, and I was like, Mimic. So, I mean, he's been alive, he's been dead, he's been somewhere in between. But the last I saw him, he was alive.
He was a member of the Exiles, so that's why I thought of him.
Mm-hmm.
So Mimic would be a 3-cost, 0-power card.
Okay.
On reveal, become a copy of your opponent's last played card.
Okay.
With -2 power. And the only reason I put -2 in there is because he's a 3-cost.
Okay.
So you can save him till the end, play him to the end, and he's going to he's going to be on brand for what he is. He's going to copy very much Morph. Morph is random when it comes to the game. Mimic is not going to be as random. He's going to come out there, you're going to lay him out, but you're going to know what he's going to turn into, unless you don't have initiative on the turn. Then you're kind of at the whim of whatever the other guy plays. So it's very similar to a leader, but at half the cost and -2 power. So I don't know. But there you go. That's my number 5. Number 5 is Mimic. Evan Bevins, what's your number 5?
Man, you're making me look bad. I didn't come up with cost or power for any of these people.
Well, that's all right. What do you got?
I just was like, I want to see these characters. Second dinner, show me what you got.
Please do it.
So my number 5 is one of my favorite X-Men, and just a character that I haven't read a lot with him. I'm just happy he exists. Maggot.
Maggot would not have even made my list. But what is up with Maggot? What does he do?
He's a blue guy who transforms from Australian to South African when writers change.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, he
would power.
he kept showing up in little asides or interludes right before Scott Lobdell left, and then when Steve Siegel and Joe Kelly took over, they decided to make him South African.
Oh,
even though he spoke with an Australian accent. And so I started to learn some South African slang, but I don't know if I pronounced it right, and I don't know if it would be offensive, so I'm not going to say anything. But he was a big, strong blue guy who had these metallic slugs that always followed him around. And then it was revealed that they are his digestive system.
Oh, weird.
So they eat stuff. They can eat through just about anything. And then he absorbs the nutrients from them and also can power up and be super strong.
Wow.
And so I don't know what his cost and power will be, but I think he'd be kind of like Snowguard. He'd create cards, Eenie and Meanie. Those were the slugs' names.
Okay.
And I would say maybe you play those cards and they destroy cards with less than 1 value. So it's a nihilist, but they don't throw them over, or they just get rid of rock.
Okay. All right.
And I was trying to think how would you do that, because they can eat through anything. So that's they would create cards like Snowguard, and then they would have some kind of effect. And the truest to the comics I could think is they would somehow destroy the rocks. But it'd be just weird if they started eating squirrels. So
Ew.
Something like that.
All right.
Maybe they would destroy one would destroy cards with 0 power, and one would destroy the lowest cost of your opponent's card, or something like that. I don't know. Something like that, but Maggot.
Okay. What do you got for number 4?
Number 4 is another X-Man. Probably one of the he's not an A-list X-Man, but he's probably one of the higher profile X characters left. I don't know what his ability would be, but it would be fun. Longshot.
Longshot was almost on this list. Came close. It's got to be luck based of sorts, so it's probably some type of. I
actually had an idea for his power, but then I gave it to another card on my list.
Oh, okay. All right.
So I'll tell you what that is, because I came up with a couple possible powers for the other character. But Longshot, I mean, we've got Mojo. It doesn't seem right that we have Mojo but not Longshot.
Agreed.
So I don't know, because I'm not sure what the luck based thing would be. I almost thought maybe it would be something where you play him and you turn the location into Mojo World. I guess I started to say Magic's the only one that changes the location to a known commodity, but Rhino turns it to ruins, and Storm turns it to flooded. So that's kind of what I thought. But I don't know. That seems more suited to Mojo himself. So, but I don't know. Something luck based. Maybe. Oh, okay. How about this? It's leech but random. So remove the text from 1 card in your opponent's hand.
Ooh, that's nice. I like that. That's actually really cool. It's focused and focuses on
could be disastrous. Could be, it's like, oh, now I can destroy your vibranium rock. I don't know, or maybe it's remove the text of the lowest cost. I don't know, but maybe something like that, where it benefits you, but you don't know exactly what it's going to do.
Okay. All right. Then my number 4, Red She-Hulk.
Nice.
I mean, it's inevitable, right? We got Hulk, we got She-Hulk, we have Red Hulk, and Red She-Hulk's going to be happening here pretty soon.
I don't know why I said nice, because it reminds me they made a pretty good HeroClix figure of Red She-Hulk.
Oh, did they?
I mean, not now. Now it's kind of phased out, but when she came out, she's pretty cool.
Okay. I remember how everybody was trying to figure out who is Red She-Hulk. They're the mystery abound, and then they figured it out. Red She-Hulk, 6 cost, 6 power. All right. And this was an easy ability to come up with. I just combined Red Hulks and She-Hulks. And I don't know if the text will actually fit on the card. But it goes like this. For each unspent energy your opponent has last turn, -1 cost and +2 power if in hand or in play. I think Hulk.
Oh, you're so full of crap. That would break the game.
Thanks, Evan.
I don't
Glad
think
to
you're
hear
full of crap. That might be a bit much.
-1 cost. Well, you got to think it depends on if it's unspent energy and the last turn. So it's okay. Maybe she can get down to a 5, but
-1
I want
plus.
I the +2 is fine. What Red Hulk gets +4 for crying out loud, and I'm starting her at a 6/6. So she costs a lot. She's not as powerful as Hulk starting out. I think +2 is just fine. I'm full of crap. The game's going to break. All right, number 3.
The only reason I said that is because you invited it. It never would have occurred.
I know. You're not mean. Number 3, and you're going to have to help me think of an ability for this person, possibly, if we can think of one.
Come up with the abilities for mine, but sure.
Captain Britain.
Oh, nice.
And this feeds into the pin that I was telling you to put in things as we approach. Yes, as we approach the E's, there has to be an Excalibur season.
How did I miss that? Oh, man.
I mean,
bad on me.
There is, so, okay, we named the members of, the beginning of Excalibur. We've already got 2 in the game. We've already got Nightcrawler, and we've got Shadowcat.
Yes.
So Captain Britain and the other person that did not make my list, who really should have because of the time travel and alternate reality and all the stuff, Rachel Summers.
Forget
Megan. Forgot about Megan. So
childhood superhero crush.
Oh, I don't blame you.
Oh man. Oh no. Now we've entered the TMI phase of this month.
She's a beautiful blonde lady. So I don't blame you. Cap, who turned into a very scary thing in some of the remember back in the days right back in the day when we were doing the Excalibur stuff with Chris Sheehan, and then I was actually reading Excalibur and enjoying it, and then he decided not to do the project anymore, and then I lost every ounce of motivation to read Excalibur.
You just wanted to, you just want to get to the point where there's a TechNet season so you can have a Joy Boy.
I did, and Joy Boy should be on my list too, but he's not.
Or at least Gate Crasher.
Captain Britain's. So I got him listed as a 4 cost, 4 power, trying to make him middle of the road. And Captain America stuck in my mind. I don't want to make him better than Captain America. So I have no idea.
Be hard pressed to make it. I mean, you could argue Pixie's better than Captain America.
I know, it's bad. But I don't know what kind of a fun ability.
One of the first cards they came up with, and they were like, oh, he inspires people, +1 power. And then the game evolved, and it's like, oh, he's Captain America.
They could just make it a +2. Yeah. There's no reason not to do that with Captain America. Why are we
totally change him like you did with Spider-Man or America Chavez?
Right.
I mean, just admit Cap needs to be better.
He does.
Make Captain America great again. Second dinner. Sorry, there's no politics in Marvel Snap or comics.
Let's start that movement.
But the 2 things that stick out in my mind about Captain Britain are, well, I started to say I think his powers are somewhat based on confidence. So that's also a Gladiator thing.
I was going to say, I remember you mentioning Gladiator having that.
And then the thing that I always loved about Captain Britain that's kind of fallen by the wayside is for a while, or at least in the old TSR Marvel Superheroes role-playing game, it specified that his powers only worked in Britain.
Oh.
And I'm like, this didn't give me any British maps. How am I supposed to make this happen? But that inspired the character in mine and Nathan Arnold's webcomic support group, Captain Atlantis, who has all sorts of power. He's the guardian of Atlantis and has been granted all sorts of powers to defend Atlantis as long as he is in Atlantis, but he doesn't know where Atlantis is. The Lost City.
That's great.
So I mean, I almost think, but I don't know how you would do it in the text, the power being location based.
I'm sitting there thinking the same thing.
Because I mean, then if they did an Excalibur season, you'd have the lighthouse would have to be one location, and the Starlight Citadel is a Captain Britain-esque location. But I don't know. Maybe he gets a bonus if it's hard to say if they outnumber them. But I mean, Captain Britain, he's a powerful dude, so it's not. Right. Yeah, that's a little too crossbonesy there.
Maybe you figure out a way to up his power a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know. It would have to be something just like you said. I feel like location's a good way of, if you can figure out a way to write that. If
maybe it's something that gives him a glass jaw. He's a 4/10, but if he's moved to another location, he gets -2 power or something.
Okay.
I don't know.
How about if the location doesn't affect the card, then he has 2 or +4 or something like that.
There's a minus if the location changes.
Okay. All right. That's good. I like that. So like, it's kind of his home ground is where he gets put out there. And then if things change, then he could lose something.
He's a 4/8 and he's -2 or 3 if his location changes.
That'd be sweet. Or I don't know. Help me out. What's the name of the world what is it called? There's a world that he goes into that's kind of an alternate reality that the Captain Britain Corps at.
Is it Avalon?
You might be right.
Now he goes by Captain Avalon because Psylocke is Captain Britain, but no, Camelot? No, what is it? Otherworld.
Otherworld, yes. That
Chris Sheehan loves Otherworld. In the same way Chris Bailey loves Alpha.
I see.
I don't think he has a problem with Otherworld. I think he had a problem with the way it was used in the latest X-Men comics. But
well, maybe Captain Britain could be the first card that changes the location to something specific. Maybe he changes it to
other than magic. Maybe.
I guess other than magic.
The Otherworld or the Starlight Citadel. Yeah, maybe that would work.
I'd be down with that. And then he has some kind of the location gives him some kind of buff, and maybe the others not. So all right. And then Scarlet Witch can come over there and change it, and then he loses all that. I like that.
Yeah, maybe it's like he changes the location to Otherworld +1 on Otherworld or something, or +2 on it.
All right.
There you go.
All right. There's my Captain Britain. You got number 3. What's your number 3 here?
You'll be a little surprised that he only made it on a number 3, but give me Sleepwalker.
That's my number 2.
Oh wow. Okay. Well, let's
almost my number 1. Almost my number 1.
Now Captain Britain was your number 3, right?
So
we workshopped that card. So okay. So you just want to talk Sleepwalker now?
That sounds good to me. Give me your thoughts on Sleepwalker.
He's awesome. But as far as the card goes, I'm thinking something maybe I did think of a power for this one. 4 cost, 0 power, and he switches places with the lowest cost card, your opponent's lowest cost card at this location.
He switches places with your opponent's lower. Okay, so you're just giving them a rock, and but you're taking one of his cards.
And so that's in keeping with the Mindscape where Sleepwalker's from, which switches your hands. And what happened when Rick Sheridan woke up or fell asleep? He and Sleepwalker switched places.
That's right.
So now you hold it till the last second, and your opponent plays the Destroyer or Orca or somebody. I can mess them up.
It could.
But it could also be kind of useless. So
we had Sleepwalker on the previous list, didn't we?
On the unsnapped cards?
I swear we did.
I didn't have him on there, not because I didn't want him, but because there were so many other higher profile characters that I was surprised weren't there.
I remember us talking about Sleepwalker at one point and trying to figure out what his power or his ability would be. And we were just talking about location a second ago with Captain Britain. I feel like we wanted something for Sleepwalker to do with the dreamscape.
Maybe he turns the location into the Mindscape.
Maybe something like that. Mine was I had him at a 2/2, 2 cost, 2 power. Location abilities do not affect Sleepwalker.
Oh,
and
I like that.
I mean, the thing is, we got Jeff now, so I don't know how Jeff. We got War Machines. I don't know if that's. I think that's kind of what we were leaning towards last time. Is we didn't want the dreamscape to mess up Sleepwalker because he kind of belongs there, and it shouldn't be causing problems for him. But that would that's
work
pretty
because
specific.
He still wouldn't for it to not affect him. He would have to be there, so that wouldn't necessarily mean he could go anywhere like Jeff. But once he's there, it can't affect him.
All right, well there you go, Sleepwalker.
It's like your Sleepwalker number 47.
Oh, he tore up Jotun. That was your number 3, my number 2. So then what's your number 2?
Number 2, Gwenpool.
Gwenpool. All right. Okay.
Now she's already on a variant holding Jeff. But okay, so Gwenpool, I don't know if you've ever read any Gwenpool.
I have not.
Gwenpool watches She-Hulk and Deadpool break the fourth wall and says, "Hold my beer."
Oh, goodness.
And then Captain America says, "Young lady, you are not 21. You shouldn't be drinking beer." Gwenpool, born from a variant cover where somebody made a Gwen Stacy version of Deadpool. Her real name is Gwendolyn Poole, and she hails from outside the 616. She's from our world.
Really?
She's a Marvel fan who got dropped into the Marvel universe and knows a thing or two about all the heroes. She managed to at least escape from a fight with the female Thor by going, "Hey, Jane," because she knew she was Jane Foster. There was a series where she was worried that if she wasn't a main character, she could get killed off. So she was trying to find ways to make herself a main character or keep an ongoing series.
That's
in Marvel Puzzle Quest. She has some kind of meta abilities. There's one where she can access a board with a cheat code, and if you punch in the right combination, she can do extra stuff. So to me, the first ability I had for Longshot, which I thought would kind of go with the stroke of good luck, would also work for Gwenpool, which is on reveal, draw the highest cost card in your deck.
Okay, all right.
So basically, she just looks through your deck and gives you the best card in there.
Yeah, that's great.
But she needs to somehow mess with the opponent. So the other one I thought is on reveal any of your opponent's cards that haven't been revealed yet. So bypassing the Invisible Woman or Supergiant.
Right.
Fouling up that MODOK Hela combo. We need Gwenpool, and she needs to mess with the game by reaching outside of it somehow.
Oh, that would be fun. That would be fun. That's a way.
I mean, if she could be a 2-cost 0 power or 2-cost 1 power or something, but just somehow give you an advantage that you shouldn't be able to get in the normal course of play.
That's cool. Good pick. Good pick. All right, then. I'm going with my number 1 here. And this is a character that was very popular in the 90s. And I'm a big fan of Cable. And as far as I know, we haven't got the X-Man variant of Cable. So we need an X-Man card.
Yes, we do.
3 cost, 4 power, which I think is what Cable is right now, right?
And he's a 2/3 now. He started out before.
That's right. Well, for all intents and purposes, that's canon because X-Man does not have the hindrance of the techno-organic virus.
Oh, there you go.
So 3 cost, 4 power, reverse the cost and power of a card in your opponent's hand. So nice. I mean, it's kind of hard for me to really make that be like, oh, you know why? That's why X-Man does that. That's not, I don't think X-Man's pretty powerful telepath, telekinesis, whatever. So maybe I can justify it that way. But I figure as far as powers go, that's pretty powerful. He's a 3 cost for crying out loud. He's going to mess things up. He's not going to completely break the game, but your 12 power Hulk is now going to be a 6 power Hulk, and he's
it's the peak in card form. I hate
it. Yes, it is. The peak. Well, what have we learned by watching Second Dinner here lately? They just take the locations and put them with the cards, or they take a card's power ability and make it a location. So there you go, X-Man in peak form. What say you for your number 1?
Well, my number 1, and I almost got off on this tangent, but I stopped myself. My number 1 isn't a character; it's a whole season.
A whole season.
Give me Alpha Flight.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
We've got Snow Guard, we've got a variant of Sasquatch, and outside of Wolverine, we have no Alpha Flighters. Okay, and outside of Jubilee in the Ultimate Comics, apparently that was the thing.
Okay.
So I mean, I don't know who would be the featured card. Almost have to be Vindicator or Puck, or I'm sorry, Guardian. Mac and Heather changed code names at some point. So
oh my goodness!
Then give me a Sasquatch, give me North Star and Aurora that play off of each other.
We're gonna have Box.
Maybe a box. I think you got to go with the core. You got to go with North Star and Aurora, Guardian, Sasquatch, and Puck. I think that's your 5.
Okay.
And if you get a 6, you need Snowbird or Shaman.
Snowbird or Shaman, right?
So I mean, Snow Guard is a mixture of Snowbird and Guardian. That's canon. That's how she picked her name.
Okay.
Puck would have to be able to bounce between.
That's a move deck. That's a move deck.
Okay, so maybe Puck's ability would be if this card is moved from its original location, move it again to a random location.
Okay.
So a mix of Hercules and Silk. Guardian, I don't know. Guardian would probably be Captain America, but no, or maybe it will be Vindicator, the Heather Hudson version. Clearly, I didn't think this through, but North Star and Aurora would have some kind of bonus if North Star was at the same location as her, and then North Star would be kind of Canadian M'Baku. if he wasn't drawn, he automatically goes to the location where Aurora is because he's always trying to protect his sister. Not that she needs it most.
Okay, all right.
Oh, wait a minute. We do have one other Alpha Flighter in the game. Dakin has been a member of Alpha Flight for 3 seconds in the current era.
Oh, wow. Okay. So Alpha Flight as your number 1, you can't stop there, though. All right?
Can't?
I'm gonna put you on the spot because you're going to have to, if it's a whole season of Alpha Flight, then you've got to pick 2 locations.
Oh, Department H.
Okay. All right.
Department H will be the first one. Okay, what's the second one? There's got to be other. Here's the thing, Jesse. I like Alpha Flight a lot more than I've read Alpha Flight. I'm 1 issue away from completing that series, and then I need to read through it. Although I'm pretty sure that's been logged and podcasted about a ton of times. But let's see. So Department H will definitely be the first one. Then there's where were they in this latest one? Just say Canada.
Canada.
Yeah. Okay, Department H and Tim Horton.
Oh man.
Department H and Vancouver.
Tim Hortons would be hilarious. I'm trying to think of what that location ability would be. It's got to be something to do with boosters. It doesn't do anything. It's like Fogwell's gym, but it's in Canada. That's great. All right. Well, hey, we've done it. That's our top 5, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you had as good as a time as I have. Be on the lookout. There should be at some point a battle that's going to be happening, and we're going to bring on our first ever guest battler. Now, how this is all going to shake down, I don't know, but I know that either Evan or I will be facing the spawn of Mark Radlich. That's right. We'll be taking on Jonas, who he has said that he was interested in coming on, and he's apparently Mark. I was talking to Mark last night. Jonas has got a combo just waiting for us. Now I don't know what the detail. I have this feeling it's a Silver Surfer deck, but I don't know for sure. So I don't believe we're going to go with themes because I have no idea what his collector level is, and I certainly don't want to put any hardship on him. So we may just do.
You say that he would be the one at a disadvantage.
It's true. But
look out! Destroys either one of us, and then we're like, "Oh, okay. Well, I guess it's your show now."
I told Mark. I said, if he beats one of us, the other one's not going to let the other person live that down for a while. But it's going to be fun. So keep an eye out for that. But before we head on out of here, Evan, why don't you go ahead and let everybody know about Asterisk 51 and where they can find you. If you're doing some podcasts here lately, let them know.
Okay, well, first of all, asterisk51.blogspot.com. That's my blog where I talk about comics, movies about comics about movies, other random stuff. I really am working my way through Amalgam. Just real life and other things keep slowing me down. And also, just a couple days ago was Free Comic Book Day, so I've restocked. Not that I was in danger of running out, with more entries for Free Comic Friday. So check that out. I usually do that every other week. Might do some extra ones this month, but you can also go on formerly known as Twitter until the mutants bought it and do a search for hashtag Free Comic Friday. I've been grabbing a bunch of free comic books, reading some of them, hoarding some of them, and so now I read them and write about them and find out shocking things like Power Rangers comics are actually good.
Crazy.
And then you can also find me, in addition to whenever Jesse's gracious enough to invite me onto a source material or unspoken issues. Also, we'll have some episodes coming up on magazines and monsters. Billy D and I watched a Roger Corman movie called The She-Gods of Shark Reef. That's really that title says a lot, although doesn't accurately describe much of the movie. And then I also have a good time. He's invited me onto his Brave and the Bob show, looking at the crazy Brave and the Bold Batman team-ups written by Bob Haney. And we discovered a villain named Ruby Rider. And I said, Billy, you got to let me talk about the rest of the Ruby Rider appearances. And sadly, there aren't that many. But check that out because she's a Batman villain like no other. And it's really a shame whenever DC asks me to pitch something to them, in addition to New 52, but now it will be Infinite Frontier or Dawn of DC, Gus Gorman. I'm also going to bring back Ruby Rider.
Dawn of DC, Gus Gorman. Oh man, you have a beautiful mind, Evan Bevins. A beautiful mind. All right. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, check out I'm going to have the plugs in here shortly after this, but we do all sorts of fun stuff here on the W2M network. You can check out the Source Material Comics podcast feed, which houses this podcast right here and others, one of which is the Source Material Comics podcast. Mark Radlich and myself just talked about Lois Lane, Enemy of the People, and that should be edited and up at some point here down the road.
Keep an eye out for that. Is that the fairly recent one that has to do with Leviathan?
Yes, as a matter of fact, okay. It has loose ties, I would say, to it. But anyway, you can check that out. We talk about that. And then, of course, the 90s centric podcast where it's me, Dean, Derry, Evan, Chris Armstrong. We all get together and we talk Marvel, DC, Image from the 90s. So that's right here on this feed as well. So with that being said, we are getting out of here. That is Evan Bevins. I am Jesse Starcher. Thanks for joining us tonight. We'll talk to you soon. Have a good one. Bye-bye.